The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you so much for being with us. Very exciting each and every show. This is show number 486, and we have super guests. And we're going to start with a very special guest. She is Kathy Trevino, and she is the Houston Association of Realtors, HAR. She is the chair for the Houston Association of Realtors. So let's get down to business right now and welcome Kathy Trevino. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Bill. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, it's super awesome to see you. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, but first of all, the Houston Association of Realtors. Let's tell people your responsibilities right there.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of responsibilities. I mean, we have right at 50,000 members with the Houston Association. We're the second largest association in the United States. So in order for us to be able to serve our members, we have a lot of responsibilities to make sure that we're doing the right things and bringing the right tools and education. And, there's so much that we have to do to make sure that our agents are informed.
As you said, that, and from time to time, I think as we have realtors on the show all the time, I think that there's so many realtors in Houston, and there really are. And the number you're saying is about 50,000.
50,000. Crazy, huh?
It is unbelievable. So, HAR, Houston Association of Realtors. Let's tell people when it started.
Well,
what year?
1918. Can you believe that? We're over 100 years old.
1918. So, and it makes you think of a time, as we think of 1918, I don't know if they had air conditioning at the time. Probably not.
Can you imagine that in this weather that we're having right now?
I cannot imagine. But hey, real estate's been around since the beginning of time.
It really has.
1918. So give us an idea as far as people that are listening from out of state or out of the city of Houston. Let's tell them about HAR. Because it's also, I know that people from other states look at our organization, HAR, and they say, wow, you guys are doing some certain things. So give us a complexion of the things that you do right here in the Houston area. Well,
I think, and you're right. I mean, HAR is looked upon as the beacon of real estate associations. And I think it all starts with the leadership. We have amazing leaders within our organization, and it starts with Bob Hale. Bob Hale has actually just reached his 50-year anniversary and 35 as CEO. So we're very proud and happy to have Bob.
Hey, Bob, congratulations.
Yes, Bob is amazing. And it starts there. I mean, many of the staff that have been with HAR, most of them have been there for many, many years. I mean, gosh, I would say more than half of the staffers that are there have been there at least 10 years or greater. And we've just recently hired quite a few new staff employees this past year as we're continuing to grow and bring services and new things like showing smart and just different things that we're bringing. We're having to add more staffers to make sure that we're capable to bring them the services that they need and make sure that everything runs smoothly. And technology is continuing to grow. So with that, we're also always bringing new things to make sure that agents are staying relevant in the industry.
Well, your role as chair for HAR began January
1. Yes.
So we're a little past the halfway mark, Kathy.
Halfway there. I can't believe it. It's gone so fast. I mean, it's just been an amazing ride thus far. As when you become a part of the executive committee, and I think we were talking about this before the show. It's like, do you know who their next chair is going to be? Well, we get elected to the executive committee as secretary treasurer, and then we move up as second vice chair, and then up to chair, and then immediate past chair. So it's a 6-year commitment when you decide to run. And we actually are in this particular time right now. I believe elections will take place in August for our incoming position for secretary treasurer. And it's a 1-year position for chairman, but it's a 6-year commitment when you're looking at the whole executive committee. So I think HAR does an amazing job of really preparing the chair for the role. But just like with everything, sometimes you get in and you're like, wow, okay, I didn't know I was going to have to do certain things like this. I mean, this is so much fun. But it's also one of the things that, you don't really think about or, when you're getting into it. But, it's things that take you away from your family and your job. And so it's a total volunteer position. And but it does. It's a huge commitment when you move into this role. There's a lot of time and additional duties and things that you have to do and represent, because you're representing all of our members, and we have a lot of members throughout the city. And so you want to make sure that you're not just representing a certain group or a certain part of Houston. There's networking groups that we have throughout the city. And I've really tried to go in and actually visit and, speak at almost every single one of those networking groups from, literally all around the city.
I'm picturing your calendar really
it's
full.
It's very, very crazy sometimes. Yeah, it can be very full.
Well, and also to say that in addition to this role at HAR, you also you're a real estate broker.
Correct. Yes.
So you're making a living in that world as well, helping buyers and sellers all the time.
Exactly. I've been in the industry now 26 years. And love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything different than real estate. But it's just an amazing opportunity for me. My husband's also in real estate, and my son got his license as well. So they have a team that's under LPT Realty. It's a company that actually I just moved to not too long ago, and so I will be the managing broker of Texas for LPT. And LPT is a real estate company that actually came out of Florida. So they're huge in Florida, and they're just now opening throughout the U.S. And Texas is one of the states that they just recently opened. And I'm very honored to be able to have that position now as the managing broker of Texas. So we currently have over 350 agents already. They just opened in December, I believe, when they actually made their mark into Texas. And we already have over 350 agents throughout Texas.
You have two big roles in your life. That's awesome. Well, let's be back to HAR for a minute. When did you decide to have that be a part of your world? Because you're already busy, but what was your inspiration to be a part of HAR?
It started way back. As a broker and owner of my own company back in the early 2001, we opened up our company, and then I got bought out in 2004 and got into more of a management role. And with that, I just really thought that, there's so many opportunities, so many things that we as leaders need to make sure that we're bringing back information to our agents to stay informed. And I got involved with Management Central with HAR. That was my first committee that I ever joined, and I think it was in 2006 or 2007, right around there. And then since then, I just kind of, just joined different committees and advisory groups and started on the local level with WCR in 2007. And, I really feel that it's very important to give back to your industry. And to me, it just means a lot to know that I can do, my job, but I can also volunteer to do other things within our industry to really give back and support our community. So that's what I started doing. And then lo and behold, you just, get voluntold to do this one and all these other committees.
I'm familiar with the
exactly.
Well, and that's great too. This experience, you've seen the mechanics, the ins and outs. So here you are in this big role. As far as the objectives, give us an idea of what people in your role as chair at HAR, Kathy Trevino, give us an idea of how you determine objectives. And there you took over January 1, 2023. What objectives did you have deployed? And even though the year is half over, What are you looking for in terms of other objectives to finish out the year? Or,
Like I mentioned, HR really does a really good job in trying to prepare their leaders and to educate them on what's coming on and what's happening in the industry. And so what I love about HAR is every year in August or September, right around that time, usually in August, we have our Strategic Leadership Conference, and it's usually held in Galveston. That is a time when we're really looking at our strategic plan for the upcoming year. And so that's when it really takes place, where the incoming chair is really starting to think about what are our goals, what are we looking for the next year, what are we facing, what's happening in the industry, and what do we need to do to prepare that as an association. And so, we get that opportunity in August to really start thinking about what we're looking for the following year. Last year, and around this same time, the industry was totally different. We had a totally different industry than what we're facing today, and so it's kind of hard to really look at things. But we did start seeing a shift in the market with interest rates starting to rise there, around the same time last year. We were starting to see those shifts, and so those are some of the things that we as an association and me as the incoming chair started to think, what is going to be my goal for the year? And what I really looked at was how agents are going to have to work harder. I mean, they're going to have to work harder and smarter because the industry was changing so rapidly. Like the past 2 years, the industry was things were just kind of flying off the shelf. You put a listing on the market, it was sold in a day, and you had 15, 20 offers, and agents were working harder in that aspect. But in actuality, in order to actually market the property and do things, they really didn't have to. And so because properties sold themselves. As the market started shifting, we started looking at things and seeing what do we need to really focus on, because that's going to change. And so my goal this year was really trying to make sure that agents understood their value. And what I mean by that is that we have to go out there and we have to work for our business, every single day. And before, it was like you list it, boom, it was gone. Buyers were coming and buying properties left and right because the interest rates were so low and they could. And so the times were good, times were really good. But as things started shifting, we now start to see that realtors really have to understand their value and to be able to now really articulate their value in order to get the business. And so what I love about HAR, we have a resources on our member only portal site for agents to be able to go in there, and they have a whole section on member value. So if agents don't know, there's on your portal, you can go in and type in their realtor value, and we have there's articles in there, there's videos that you can help you to help an agent build their value proposition. There's scripts, there's all kinds of things in there to really help agents get the right information and put something together so that way they can put in their listing presentations and their buyer presentations, videos, all of those things to update their value and be able to really articulate that.
And one of the things I'm thinking about, Kathy, is, again, the amount of realtors, 50 or so thousand, and each one of those realtors are in different places.
Yeah. I
mean, think about the ones as I drive by Champion School of Real Estate on 99. The parking lot's always full, so I'm picturing people renewing CE classes, and I'm picturing a whole bunch of them coming out the door saying, "Hey, I'm a realtor now," and and they belong to HAR. So, and you're serving also those that have been in it in the real estate world for 30 years. So, it's a big responsibility what you have in front of you to serve all the diversity of needs and the tenure of each person.
And that's what I love about HAR so much, is because we look at that and we bring in educational courses and classes for new agents, for experienced agents. We have an amazing program called Realtor Launch, and it's, you can go in and it's a 5-day program, and it could be for new agents, someone who's just, coming in brand new into the industry. It can also be for an agent who maybe have had their license for a while and really wants to relaunch their career and go in and look at ways that they can do that as well. What I love, you talked about the diversity. Diversity is huge in Houston. I mean, we're like a melting pot of all kinds of cultures. And here recently, HAR just rolled out their Global Information Exchange, which is a where you can go in and list international properties. We offer that for all of our agents. You have to sign up as an agent and you can list your properties internationally. We have another opportunity for agents and consumer, actually. If the consumer goes in and goes into HAR, they can actually go in, and if they're looking for a property and maybe they speak Spanish or a different language, they can go in and they can actually select the language that they want to listen to the property. So if I have a listing and the description, I have all the description of the property, they can go in and they can select, I want to hear it in Japanese or whatever it may be, and it will actually read it to them in their language. All of our website is also bilingual, so that's kind of cool, so that we have a huge influx of Latino community, and they can go in there and they can look at it and read it in their language. And then, like I said, in other languages, I believe there's up to 12 or 13 languages now that they can actually hear, or it could be read to them, all of the description of the properties. So that's kind of cool. That just recently rolled out.
Well, one of the things, I don't know what the real estate professionals listening right now are thinking, but one thing I would do if I were a realtor is review and examine and refresh my being familiar with all the things that you have to offer and all the tools, because it sounds overwhelming. And I'm also thinking that there's some realtors out there that don't realize all the tools that they have with HAR.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just like with anything. I mean, you have all of these
so
amazing things, and look at your phone. How many how many tools on your phone do you don't really use?
Exactly.
But it's the same with our organization. I mean, we have an amazing amount of tools. The great thing is that we have some amazing staff that go in and they do classes. A lot of those are online. If you go in there and you search for a particular class, you can pull that up and you can sign up. A lot of those are virtual. We just started doing our in-person classes again, so that's pretty cool. And actually, it's kind of crazy, because I think agents are really wanting to get out and wanting to learn more in person, because all of our in-person classes have been filled, and which is really cool. So we're starting to see that as well. So we have a little bit of in-person and still virtual training classes available. So whatever works for the member, we want to make sure we supply it.
And at this little bit beyond the midpoint, just a bit, what's the outlook for the rest of the year? And then what are you anticipating for 2024?
I mean, I wish we had a crystal ball. I mean, I really do. Don't we all? But I mean, I think a lot of it is going to depend on, the economy, what the feds do with the interest rates, whether they continue to rise. We are hearing a little chatter out there that they may rise before they fall, or start declining a little bit. We don't really know. I think a lot of that, obviously it affects our industry directly. But we are staying very optimistic. I mean, when you look at the numbers and you compare it to prior to the pandemic, 2019 numbers, we are actually positive. We're doing way better, than we did even in 2019, and those were record-breaking years. So we're very optimistic. We think that the market will continue to stay strong. Prices, they're starting to decline just slightly in some areas, but you always have to remember that real estate is local, and what may be happening on one side of Houston will be totally different in another. So we always encourage to make sure that you hire a realtor, and so they can pull up the comparables and really, give you the advice and counsel that you need for that particular area.
From your perspective, and we hear it all the time on this show and everywhere else, there are so many people coming to Houston, Texas. And not from other cities, other states, other countries. From HAR's perspective, when you have meetings and talk about the influx, what are some of the things that you find out and are mindful of?
Oh my, we're seeing, like you just mentioned, people come in from the West, the East Coast. What happens usually in California and Florida end up eventually coming to Texas. But we're seeing a lot of different things out there. One of the things I'd like to bring up is safety, and what we're seeing as far as wire fraud and different kind of scams and different things that we're seeing in our industry. As the industry continues to change, unfortunately the scammers change and try to be faster than we are.
Trying to be a step ahead.
Exactly. And so I think those are the things that we as an association are also having to look at and make sure that we inform our members of. I recently got elected to a task force with Texas Realtors, and it's an E&O task force, and we met in June. And I thought it was just, I was like, how did I get on another task force? And they were like, well, you get elected by the actual executive committee of TR, and they bring in the errors and omissions companies, and they come in and they do a report and they state like, what are we seeing across the nation? Because typically, like I mentioned, what happens on, the West and the East Coast will eventually come to Texas. And some of the things that they were talking about were like, wire fraud, that's not going away. It's getting worse, and so we're putting together information to make sure that our agents and our members are aware. I think a lot of it is educating not only the member but also the consumer, because a lot of times they're not only just going after the agent, they're impersonating the agent to go and try to hopefully get funds from their consumer. And so we're seeing those type of things. There's just a lot of things that we need to be aware of, and we need to make sure that we as an association are preparing our members for it. So I'm actually going to be on Member Focus Monday. We have a Member Focus Monday every Monday, and I'll be on there, I believe, at the end of the month, and talking about realtor safety and all of those things, that fraud and all of those things for our members. So hopefully our members will be able to join us then.
Also, give us a quick word on the HAR app. It is super. You're constantly improving that. People can find homes there and so much more. Give us a word on that.
Oh, yes. Our app is amazing. I mean, agents use it on a daily. I mean, nowadays, we were talking about this right above the show, everything is in the palm of your hand. And so HAR is on the forefront of making sure that technology is always up to date. And our app is phenomenal. I mean, you can search for properties, you can list properties, you can update your listings, you can do advertising on there as well. You can search for properties in around you. So if there's, if you as an agent, if you're in an area and they're like, well, what else is available? We can go on the app and you can pull up all the properties that are available right then and there. They have drive time where you can actually visit with your client and say, if a client says, well, I want to live within 30-minute drive time of my home that I'm about to purchase, we can actually look at that and see, okay, well, this is the areas that, we'll be able to allow you that, especially with crazy Houston traffic.
So many capabilities. Also, again, you're in addition to HAR, you're helping buyers and sellers at LPT Realty, right?
Yes.
So give us a quick word on that as far as helping buyers and sellers. Do you focus on a certain geographic area, Kathy, or how does that work? How do you approach it?
Well, we always want to make sure that our agents are geographically competent in the areas that they're servicing. I personally do not list and sell anymore. I just, I'm a broker, and I do all of the brokerage type deals as far as, answering questions for my agents and making sure that they're not getting into any trouble or anything like that. But we have agents throughout Texas. We're currently in Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas. And so we service pretty much, throughout the Texas area. And we focus on residential real estate. We do have some agents that, also work commercial. And of course, we do leasing and things like that as well.
Well, before we close this segment, what haven't I asked you about HAR or LPT that you want to tell people about?
Well, I just want to say, it's HAR is just a truly amazing association. I don't know. I think I answered pretty much everything.
Right? Hey.
I mean, but yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm super excited to be the chair this year, and it's just been a great experience.
The other thing that comes to mind is we said HAR started in 1918. Mm-hmm. I bet it's going to go 200 years and beyond.
I'm sure it will.
So let's tell people how they can reach out to HAR, the website, and then how they can reach out to LPT Realty.
All right. Well, HAR, we're located on Southwest Freeway, and it's HAR.com. Pretty simple.
Easy.
Yeah, pretty simple.
HAR.com. And LPT Realty?
Same thing, lpt.com. You could go into lpt.com and find out all the information there about how to join and be a part of our team and learn about our agents and all the information that you need.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Kathy Trevino.
Thank you.
As we continue, let's talk money. John Linhart is here. His company's called Sun West. John, welcome to the show.
Bill, thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you again.
Well, here we are. Sun West. First of all, money's so important. Let's tell people about Sun West.
Yeah, excellent. So Sun West Mortgage Company has been around since 1980. They weathered the financial crisis in 2007, 2008. Any loan product you can think of, we offer. We offer forward products, reverse products. We offer FHA, VA, land loans, investment properties, single family, multifamily, farm acreages. And one of the great things about SunWest Mortgage Company is, unlike a lot of other companies, we don't have any overlays. And what that means is that veterans listening will understand what I'm talking about here. So on the VA loan, the government says we can loan as low as a 500 FICO score. Some companies won't loan to a veteran who has under a 620 FICO score. So we have a lot of flexibility. I love the company that I work for.
So it sounds like for veterans, there's a flexibility there, but also you're helping everybody, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone and everyone. We comply with all guidelines for Freddie, for Fannie, for the government. So it's phenomenal.
Also, you mentioned veterans. We do want to say and take this opportunity to thank veterans out there serving, those that have served, guys like you, as you were an former Marine. I don't know, they always say that you're still a Marine forever, but you're a United States Marine.
Yes, sir. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Served a very long time ago now, it feels like, but very proud of my service and to have put that time in and met a lot of wonderful people from all over the country, all kinds of backgrounds, and really, I think, set me up for success for the future.
And thank you for your service.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
Well, let's tell people, I mean, right off the bat, one of the things I think about anybody serving in the military, that you have a certain experience that you can take into the business world. And in a way, I think that has an advantage because of the discipline and the training and the fact that you could just survive the boot camp. I mean, if it's anything like the movies. But right, how have you used your experience in the military to be a tremendous business person?
So you mentioned discipline. So, doing what you need to do, even if you don't feel like doing it. Structure. So, planning out your day, planning out your week, planning out your month, setting goals and working to accomplish and achieve those goals, and simply not being afraid to get out there and communicate. One of the great things about the experiences that I've lived through is that now as a mortgage loan officer, nothing could ever be quite as bad as what I've been through in the past. So it's great motivation to...
No one's shooting at you.
Correct.
Bullets are not flying.
Yeah, so even if I get a difficult phone call and work in a file where the numbers are just not quite coming together, it could always be worse.
Exactly. So give people an idea, because they always want to know, what's the interest rate and all that. But the marketplace right now, we know that they've risen, but what's the marketplace right now from your perspective in the mortgage world?
So the great news about Houston and Texas together is that, especially in Houston, we've got historically low inventory. People are moving here from all over the country, from all over the world.
They still are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so no matter how volatile the interest rates are right now, which they are, we still have a lot of buyers and not a lot of houses to sell them. So, you've seen a little bit of price consolidation in the area, but then you still have pockets where you're having multiple offer scenarios and competition. I've been very fortunate to establish great relationships with a lot of agents in the area who refer me their clients. So I've constantly stayed busy. And one of my competitive advantages, if you will, is that I work 7 days a week. So I'll be up 6:30 in the morning texting agents, following up with customers. And if someone needs to put in an offer on a Saturday or Sunday in a multiple offer situation where the house is hot and very desirable, I'll work till 11 o'clock or midnight to try to get you into that house. And I'll be honest, I love the job. I love the, creative problem solving that I can do. I love crunching the numbers. But what I've found is the most rewarding part is at the end of the transaction, when the family closes on the home and they send you a picture and everyone's smiling, and all that work was to help a family realize their dream of owning a home.
It all comes together. So one of the things that I'm thinking about as you're describing the process a little bit, and that is that each transaction's different. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might be selling, and not to mention credit scores are all over the board, I would think, but you're selling to individuals, families. Now you have combined credit scores. By the way, on that note, let's say a husband and wife, one person has a great credit score, 800 and something. That's a great score, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
800, let's say, and then they're married to a person that has a low credit score. How's that work?
So to get into the weeds a little bit, bear with me here as we go through this. So every individual has 3 credit scores.
Each person.
Each person has 3 credit scores. So you're going to have an Equifax, a TransUnion, and an Experian. And so what we do is we take the middle of those 3 and we call it your mid score, your mid FICO. And so say that you've got a 6, a 610, and a 620, we rate you off of the middle one, that 610. So say you've got one spouse who their mid FICO is going to be 800, and you've got one spouse who their mid FICO is 550, we're going to go off of that 550.
So how often do you run into people with credit scores 800 or above?
Not very often. Not very often. It is rare. So either side of the spectrum, whether you're talking about 800 or you're talking about the flip side, that's kind of very rare. I'd say the majority of the applications that we're taking are probably somewhere in the 600s or around that range.
So as you talk to individuals and families, you're seeing the credit scores, so you have an idea of what's going on in people's financial lives, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and one trend that I am noticing now with everything going on in the country and in the economy is that a lot of families are struggling. Credit card debt is piling up. Car payments are expensive. Cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of living. And so we've got situations where families might have a great rate on their house from refinancing during the pandemic era, and they're looking to cash out and free up some of that equity. At the same time, you've got people who are trying to buy a house, and because the interest rate is higher than it was, a few years ago, they've got to purchase a house that's a lot less money, but they're still building equity. They're still in a home that's theirs, and they still have something they can be proud of.
And houses aren't going down in price, are they? I'm not seeing that.
Not a lot, especially here in Houston. Other parts of the country you hear about it anecdotally, but here in Houston, I mean, you've got it leveling off. It's no longer going up at the rate it was. But again, we've got such low inventory and such high demand for the area that you're really just not seeing it substantially decline.
So if you were to guess and speculate for the rest of the year, what is the outlook? And more specifically, your company, certainly you all have meetings and they talk to the employees, they talk to you, and here's what's coming. Here they ask for feedback, all those things that happens at a normal meeting. What is the feel that you get as your company talks and as you have these meetings for the rest of the year?
So we've got a positive outlook. Our branches, our headquarters is in California. We are making loans in all 50 states plus Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands. And so, some of the tools that we've got is Angel AI. Our CEO, Pavan, is very big on technological innovation. My branch manager, Jim Martinez, has been doing this for a very long time. He's an incredibly intelligent individual. And so we've got a positive outlook. Again, the creative problem solving and the access to so many different loan products. If I get a situation in front of me I don't have a path forward on, say, an FHA, well, maybe I can go non-QM with a bank statement loan. Maybe I can do something where we look at a debt service coverage ratio that a parent or a family member can buy it as an investment property and then get their kid in that house. And then after a few years of working on their credit, we can refinance it out of that investment style loan and back into something more conventional or FHA. So we're in there hooking and jabbing, solving problems. And again, a lot of lenders don't have access to it, or they just choose not to dive into that realm of something that's not extremely cookie cutter. And so I like working hard. I work 7 days a week, and I'll do anything and everything to get a family into a home. And that's pretty much the attitude at Sunwest Mortgage Company.
The other thing, as we started out talking about veterans and some of the benefits that they are able to, that they've earned, when you run into veterans, either married or single, how many of them are not aware of some of the benefits that they have? And they should be aware, right? Yeah,
a lot of them. And there's multiple programs out there for veterans above and beyond just the VA loan. Texas has its own spin on it. Down payment assistance agencies that were able to, piggyback on the VA loan to help cover closing costs, out-of-pocket expenses, et cetera. But one of the challenging things that I went through as a veteran, and I hear from a lot of other veterans, is there's all these programs that exist that they don't necessarily tell you about as you're getting out of the military. And so it's really important to shop around lenders and see someone who's got the experience, who's got the wherewithal to have, dive deep into the options and availability so that they can inform you as to what is the best scenario, best path forward, not only so that I can afford my monthly payment, but also so if I don't have to come to the table with a whole bunch of out-of-pocket expenses for closing costs, maybe there's something that exists to help me out. So, I love helping everyone and anyone, achieve their dream of home ownership and their goals in real estate. Because I'm a veteran, I especially love helping veterans achieve their goals too.
John, before we close the segment, what else would you like people to know?
I'd like people to know that despite whatever the market's doing, it always makes sense to own a home. They say that the best time to purchase a home was 6 months ago, so why not do it now? You can always refinance later down the road, but really find some people who care, and they're going to go above and beyond to write that home loan for you and figure out how to do it so that it best suits your family, not suits that loan officer's pocketbook.
And people can reach you by?
So the easiest way to reach me is through my website, which is www.linhartloans.com. That's my last name. So it's going to be www.linhartloans.com.
If they want to call you?
My phone number is 832-322-3590. And again, you can reach me 7 days a week. It's going to be 832-322-3590.
And once again, John, thank you for your service. And thanks for being here with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everything you do for everyone in the real estate community here locally.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Hey, John.
Captain, always a pleasure.
Oh, here we go. Way to go bringing Kathy on, and of course John doing tremendous work here. But that was your inspiration to bring Kathy Trevino right here on the show.
Well, we're very fortunate to have Kathy, and David helped us out quite a bit in
David, yes,
making sure that this took place. So we truly appreciate it, and always good to see John.
And of course, David Mendel's been with HAR for a long time. I think it's going on 2 decades.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
So
he is the PR and PR
exactly
with HAR.
Well, here we are once again. People await far and wide, even in other countries. I'm told they want to hear more about insurance, and here you are, Stewart Insurance.
So when are we going to start translating this segment into multiple languages, Bill?
Well, that's next year's goal.
Okay, that's next year's goal.
Let's
Okay.
get through this year.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But that's a good idea.
So Kathy ended up giving me a nice lead-in, so I appreciate that, Kathy. Thank you. Today I wanted to talk about 9 ways that real estate firms can minimize the cyber risk. So what are some of the things that you can do? We talk about in our real estate liability class about generally ways that we can minimize risks. And by the way, we teach all 3 of our classes through our friends at HAR. And I've got 18 scheduled this year, so you can look
at HAR.
At HAR, yes.
You're everywhere.
I am everywhere.
That's amazing.
But you can look up har.com/education and either look up our class names or my name, and you can register for that. But so in our real estate liability class, we talk about kind of broad ways that you can minimize risks that are out there. And I came across a really interesting article the other day about how specifically you can do some things to minimize those risks. Cyber risk, but specifically for cyber. And the first one is just conduct a comprehensive analysis. Where do you stand as a company? What do you do to minimize those risks? Are there any things that you currently have in place to minimize cybercrime? Are you even cognizant of the things that are out there that can help you do that? So at least find out where you stand. So to begin with, the second then would be, what is your strategy going to be? Based upon your business and based upon your industry, what are the things that you think you need to take into place? You could be, fully armed and doing everything you possibly can to minimize that risk, or you could have not done anything at all. So where do you stand, and then what's that strategy that you can make sure that once you establish it, you act on it to protect yourself and your clients? The third step is make sure your employees, your associates are trained, that you have ongoing training support. Resources like HAR and NAR are great resources to do that. If you by chance have cyber insurance already, many of the insurance companies that we work with have training programs built into their website. So as a client of theirs, as an insured, then you have the access to that training. So making sure that your team is aware of what the concerns are out there and how they can go about minimizing those situations. The fourth is to implement multi-factor authentication. So the ability to, in order for you to access an email or access a file, access a program, access a database, you have to confirm who you are. So that could be as simple as putting in a password, your username, and then having a code sent to your phone or a code sent to your email address where you have to confirm what that is in order to let you in. So that's very simple to do, and it's one of the most effective tools in minimizing risk from cyber crimes and cyber criminals. In fact, many of the insurance companies that we work with that provide cyber plans, if you're not using MFA, they're not going to write you. That's just a minimal thing.
It's become a standard.
It is. It's a standard. Regular systems updates and patches. When it's time for your software, your database, whatever, your email programs, when it's time for those to be updated, when patches are released, accept them, update them. Make that a regular part of your maintenance program, because if you have systems that are not up to date, that provides some vulnerability that the bad actors are going to take advantage of. So make sure that you update your systems on a regular basis. Make sure you've got a firewall, that you've got some sort of intrusion system so you can minimize the chances of somebody getting into that system. Back everything up. Back it up. Have an off-site server where you back it up, or use the cloud, but back it up. We talk about it a lot in the classes, Bill, about documenting everything. Equally important is backing it up. So if something were to happen, you've got access to that data, and it's not in the hands of a bad actor.
As we talk about real estate brokers, I don't know, but certainly in Houston, Texas, and anywhere else, they're all size of companies. I mean, it could be a 3-person real estate broker, it could be a massive one, and I'm thinking, again, I don't know, but if I'm a smaller broker, I might be thinking, I don't need this coverage, but everybody does.
No,
or everybody has to look at it to, as you said in the very beginning, to assess, right?
That's exactly right. That everybody does face that risk, and it might be actually easier on a smaller firm to get involved. But you hear that. Well, it's just Bill and I.
Right.
And we've been working together for years. There's not an issue. I know all my clients. Everything's referrals. And those are the reasons that we get hit. But
there's that one transaction that isn't your friend, or that used to be, and then something happens.
So let's say you
Oh, no.
you clicked on a link that you shouldn't have, and now somebody has access, and they're just sitting back following your transactions, and you're a small firm, but suddenly you're helping somebody sell a $4 million home. Well, that's going to take the interest of a bad actor. Or if I can nibble, and make a little bit off of you each time you do a transaction. So everybody is vulnerable, because we all still have, whether you're a 350 agent firm with 15 locations, or you're a 3 agent firm with 1 location, you still are carrying the same type of information on your clients. You still have social security numbers. You may have credit card information.
They're using email.
They're using email. There's going to be transactions. So there's going to be connections to title firms. There's going to be connections to banks at some point. So you've got all that data that the bad actors want. In fact, one of the suggestions that the article talked about was making sure that the people that you work with, your vendor partners, your affiliates, that they have risk management plans into place when it comes to cyber situations, even to the point of maybe having that written into a contract. So if you're working with somebody, are you using multi-facting authorization? Are you using MFA? Do you have firewalls? Are you training your folks on an ongoing basis? Because that's what the cyber insurance companies are looking for. And then the last way is just to have cyber coverage. there's some instances where you can buy an errors and omissions plan, and there'll be some network security coverage within that plan. And that's nice to have, and that's better than not having anything. But the downside is if you do have a claim that's to network security, so you've got a cyber claim on that errors and omissions plan, there's a good chance that, one, your premium is going to go up for sure next year, and there's going to be a question about your insurability. So you're almost better just to go ahead and invest in a cyber coverage as well.
Well, the other thing, as far as the broker goes, small or large, they're all so busy. And it's easy to say, I'll do that another time. I don't have time. So,
well, and that goes
a lot
back
of challenges in the business.
Well, and that goes back to the training that, that if you do log in, use MFA. If you're provided a VPN, then you use that VPN. That you're using a secure Wi-Fi versus logging in at a coffee shop and using their Wi-Fi. So little things like that you can do to minimize that risk, and then you offset it hopefully with some good coverage.
Sounds good, John. What else should we know?
Well, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about cyber coverage, or if you'd like to have cyber coverage for your firm, we can help you out with that, as well as your errors and omissions and general liability, commercial property, commercial auto, and then also your personal insurance. If you want to be properly insured with your home, wind, auto, flood, we can help with that. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Phone number again is?
866-798-2827.
I was at a lunch the other day, and I ran into someone that heard the show, and he said, hey, I want to be properly insured.
Yes, 866-798-2827.
And what if someone's in Indiana?
866-798-2827.
Sounds good to me, John. Thank you so much for being with us. Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. And now, as I always say, stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. Here is Shelley Keller, and she has a notebook. I can hardly wait to... You're following the steps of John Bramlett with your notebook, Shelley.
I know. John's just the
Inspiration.
one that yes, he always makes me want to be a better person and a better me.
There you go. Oh, that's what a kind thing to say, and so true. I feel the same way. Meanwhile, Shelley, let's tell people, as you're developing business for Stewart Title, oh yeah, we're going to be 130 years old in October. We don't look a day over 90, but let's tell people the offices you serve.
So I oversee the Woodlands as well as our Willis and Walker County office. I oversee 3 escrow officers with a total combined experience of over 50 years. And my team is really dedicated and really committed to providing exceptional customer service. They're also very dedicated in protecting our clients and implementing the safeguards in your real estate investment. They really do try their best to ensure that every closing is as smooth as possible, whether that be, making sure that everything's done in a timely manner, or just ensuring that you are always able to reach your processor or escrow officer, as soon as you make that first phone call. So for my team, we really just genuinely try to do our best. You can't really get 100% from everybody, but that is generally what we try to strive to do.
That sounds good to me. The Woodlands office. Now, I've been to our Woodlands office several times, and those that have closed or are going to close there will really enjoy. It's beautiful, and as you mentioned, the competency of each and every person there is fantastic. How far, though? I've not been to Willis yet. How far is the Willis office from the Woodlands, by the way? I'm sure you've made that drive every now and then.
Well, if you like to step on the gas,
you go through the country, don't you?
You can make it there easily in 20 minutes or less.
Oh, is that all?
I'm sure if you go the speed limit, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, Shelley Keller, let's tell people if they want to bring their transaction to you or find out about any of the activities that you have, continuing education, the fun things that you do up there, let's tell people how they can reach you.
You can reach me by email at Shelley, Shelley, Keller, Kellar at stewart.com, or by mobile 346-831-4312. Again, that's 346-831-4312. 4312. Real quick, I would like to highlight we have had some major changes in Stewart Title of Montgomery County. Our former operations manager, Tricia Bowers, has actually been promoted to being our president of Stewart Title
Congratulations,
Montgomery
Tricia.
County. Yes.
So she's listening, so we're happy about
Yes,
that.
she's still closing. She's still our senior escrow officer, but she has received that little bump in becoming president. So she kind of is the end-all be-all for us now.
That is awesome. Once again, your number is
346-831-4312.
Shelley Keller. We're trying to be a better person. We all are. Inspiring to have you here once again. And now she's back. Kathy Trevino. She is the chair of the Houston Association of Realtors and the broker for LPT Realty. Kathy, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Now, before we get down to business, I do want to say one of the things as I researched you, you are a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Is that correct?
I am. Yes.
There you go. That's quite that to me, that sounds a perfect thing in the business world to help the mind and body keep a balance. Would that be correct? I don't know.
Most definitely. I mean, for us, it was more of a family thing. We wanted to do something as a family, and then, of course, exercise and all of that stuff. But also in our industry, I mean, we always want to make sure that we're staying safe. And I think that was one of the things that, one of the reasons why I stayed in it.
Personal safety.
Personal safety.
Yeah.
We live in a world right today where you just, hopefully you'll never have to use it, but if you do, you can at least get away.
And on that word, on safety, keep your heads out of the cell phone. Situational awareness, that's so important for all of us at every age and every profession. Well, before we close the show and the segment, Kathy, what else do you want people to know about HAR or anything else?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I just want to say, as a realtor, we do so many things for the community, but we also want to make sure that, when you're out there searching for a home, make sure you hire a realtor. We're here to help you through your real estate service, through your transaction, guide you and give you the proper advice and counsel that you need. So, always remember real estate is local. So what's happening on one side may not be the other. So you need somebody there to guide you and give you the proper advice and counsel that you need to either purchase or sell your home.
Also, when I'm around realtors, I think that when they look at the future, there are some realtors that are fearful that the realtors will no longer be used. I mean, look at the actors strike, or not the actors, but the writers strike. Now actors are joining in. AI. I don't think AI is going to replace realtors, but there's a great future for the real estate professionals out there.
For sure. I mean,
we need people.
We do. People. Relationships is key, and that's what we do. And it's a relationship business. And so I don't think that realtors are going away.
And again, let's tell people the website for HAR is HAR.com.
Correct.
I got that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then LPT Realty.
LPTrealty.com.
Kathy, thanks so much for being with us. Please come back again soon. In the meantime, John Linhart is back. Here he is, John Linhart with SunWest Mortgage. John, a final word as we land the plane right now and close the show down. What else do you want people to know?
I want people to know that what I really value in my service to them is clear communication, quick responsiveness, and close on time or earlier every single time.
Sounds good to me. How can people reach you? John Linhart at SunWest Mortgage.
832-322-3590. Again, that's 832-322-3590. Or on my website, www.linhartloans.com. That's www.linhartloans.com.
Thank you for being with us, and thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening, and of course, you can go to the archives at stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio, where you can hear and see the show. In case you don't know, we make a YouTube video of each show that will take you to the video. It's always fun to see what's happening here in the studio at stewart.com/radio, and we would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. Just go to stewart.com to find out your closest office. We will see you next week. Thanks for listening.